everyone, I made this video for our journalism class covering the basics of Unit 3 interviewing and research skills. Hopefully this short video will make you feel a bit more confident and prepared to work on these assignments in Unit 3. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to call me or email me. I'm here to help. Now, what are your graded assignments in this unit? You will have some quizzes, so make sure you're keeping up with those. But today we're going to talk about your written graded assignments. So you have your 3.1, your story proposal. All of these assignments are building up to you writing your own story in the next unit, unit number 4. So in this one, you have your 3.1 assignment, story proposal. It's 25 points. And there you tell me what kind of story you're going to write about and research. Your 3.3 reflection 1, human sources, that's 5 points, and there you're going to list some people that you can interview. 3.4 reflection number 2 is non-human sources. So what are you going to use to get some background information on your story? Again, that's 5 points as well. So we're going to break down each of these assignments. So your assignment number 1 in Unit 3, it's a story proposal. You're going to choose an organization or an individual who has recently made news in your local community. So this is the first step in producing your own news story in the next unit. So again, we're doing all these little steps to build you up to being able to write your own story. So make sure you do all of these assignments because it's going to do your little stepping stones to the main writing assignment coming up. So to get your 25 points, you're going to fill in the prompts below and then turn it into the correct drop box. So an overview of your idea, give me a brief description of your story and why it would be important for readers. What would make someone want to read your story? The next one, you're going to identify human sources by name, their position at an organization or relationship to the organization or overall story. State what sort of information you hope each source, at least 2, hopefully 3, can provide you. And then, of course, identify non-human sources by title, location, and any other information that you might need to be helpful for each source. So at least 1, preferably 2, that you will provide. Now your reflection 1, it's the human sources. Okay, so consider sources. Where do journalists go to find people who have information they need to report stories? So when you look at your own story, think about these questions. What kind of people does it involve? Where do they like to spend their time in real life or online? What professional organizations might they belong to? Are there any religious organizations or charities? The people who have relevant information or expertise? Government agencies with staffers? Can you ask your friends or relatives for information as well? And then by asking people you know at organizations and agencies and venues in the community. So thinking about who you can actually interview. Now, when you turn in your journal, your 3.3 reflection number 1, human sources, once you have identified the names and positions and contact information, you're going to start your journal entry. Your journal entry should include the following: a 1-sentence description of your story idea and a short paragraph describing the sorts of places you looked for appropriate resources. Then you need to list out 4 possible human sources and links to where you found the possible human sources or a description of where you found them offline. And then, of course, you're going to label it Journal Entry 3.1 Human Sources. So this is what you're going to be turning in to your 3.1 Human Sources Dropbox, listing these things in your journal. Now 3.4, again, all of these things are building up to your final story, helping you get your story organized. This one's going to be on non-human sources. So when considering your story idea, ask yourself what sort of documents might exist and where you might find them. So your first source should be a person or an organization that you plan to write about. So most likely you can find information about them online. Is there a website, reports, news releases, studies, statistics that have information on your story on those sources? Are there professional watchdog groups or government agencies that might compile sort of information you need? Charities, religious organizations that can also give you some more insight. Has any other media stories been created that you can use for your own research? Definitely use your local libraries or an academic library to give you guys more information on their databases that you can access. And then by investigating organizations and agencies and any other venues in the community, you should be able to establish what entities create, collect, or compile the sort of information you need for your reporting. Now, when you turn in your 3.4 Reflection 2 non-human sources, you need to record all those findings you just did. You need to identify names, positions, and contact information as well in your journal. Then you're going to include this following information: 1-sentence description of your story idea and a short paragraph describing the sorts of places you looked for appropriate non-human sources, a list of 4 possible non-human sources, and then links to where you found possible non-human sources or description of where you found them offline. So let me know, how did you find this? Where is it? You definitely want links to websites so you can go back and use that information when you actually write your story in Unit 4. And then, of course, label your entry 3.2 non-human sources. For your journal assignment and your reflections that we just talked about, how are you going to be graded? You've seen this rubric before. I used it in Unit 1 and Unit 2. Remember, it's a total of 5 points. The biggest thing is timeliness, right? You get 1 point for turning it in on time, which is nice. Making sure your communication is clear and free of errors, so make sure you use spell check, or maybe read it out loud to see if it makes sense. Ideas, demonstrating understanding of concepts and or content. Research, did you spend time actually researching the information and finding everything you needed? And the last one would be complete, all contains all components described in the assignment. So I know that was a very quick overview of our written assignments for Unit 3. However, make sure you guys are getting these done. Remember, it's the building blocks that lead you to the final assignment in Unit 4 where you actually write your story. If you guys need help at all, please email me, please call me. Don't just sit there and be concerned and frustrated or confused. Reach out, be a self-advocate, work hard to improve your grades. And again, I'm here for you. Please use me as a tool to help you succeed in our journalism class. Thanks, and I hope this video was helpful. And again, email me if you have any questions. Have a great day.